I think Sammy should have done Feel Your Love Tonight. I think he should stay away from Ice Cream Man. What about you for Van Halen 1?
I would say On Fire.
Okay, good one.
And I agree that he should stay away from Ice Cream Man.
Okay, cool. And Van Halen 2, Sammy should sing Light Up the Sky, and he should stay away from Beautiful Girls.
You read my mind.
Oh, wow, look at that. Women and Children First. He should sing In a Simple Rhyme. He should stay away from Everybody Wants Some.
I was going to say Romeo Delight, but I do like In a Simple Rhyme, too.
Okay.
That's good.
What'd you say to stay away from?
I was going to say Women and Children First, but I never remember the name of that song. It's like a mental block.
What do you mean?
All the time. Is it called Women and Children?
Could This Be Magic?
Could This Be Magic? I never remember
right,
that.
yeah.
I did that on the last podcast.
Right, you did that.
I can never remember that one. I don't know why. Anyway, Could This Be Magic?
Cool. Fair warning, I said Sam should sing Hear About It Later, but he should stay away from Mean Street.
Wow, I said he should do Mean Street.
Ooh, nice. Okay, go ahead. And what did she stay away from?
But he should stay away from, what's that song, the reggae thing they tried to do?
Push Comes to Shove.
Yes, he should stay away from that.
Okay. I said in Diver Down, he should do Dancing in the Street, but stay away from The Full Bug.
He should do Secrets.
Ooh.
And yes, he should stay away from The Full Bug.
Okay, cool. And 1984, I said Sam should sing I'll Wait, but stay away from Hot for Teacher.
I said he should do House of Pain.
Oh.
And yes, he should stay away from Hot for Teacher.
All right, cool. All right, Brad, there you go.
He should basically stay away from the songs that are so identified with Dave.
Yeah, that's true.
That's basically what it boils down to.
That's very true. Okay, cool. Letter number 2 comes from Dave Moses, the fourth Dave. He says, ever heard of the guitar player Kurt Mitchell? He was in a band called Bangalore Choir back in 1992. He also made a VHS video back in the day called Guitar Method in the Style of Van Halen with Kurt Mitchell. Here is a DVD cover. It's still available on Amazon, and his stuff is on YouTube as well. He breaks down Ed's tone and tricks meticulously. As a guitar player, I can tell you that he is really covering Ed's style, tricks, tone, and guitar history all quite well. Any chance to chase him down as a guest on the podcast? Could be very interesting, I think. Dave Moses, the fourth Dave. Well, Dave, Kurt is amazing. I love him. I think he's fantastic. He really breaks down Ed's style. He does a great job, and I recommend him for any guitarist to check this out. His name is Kurt Mitchell, Kurt with a C, and it's called Guitar Method in the Style of Van Halen. Anybody who's a musician should definitely want to check that out. He does a really nice job really breaking it down and explaining the whole process. I will try to get him on, Dave, so I will look into that, and thank you so much for the tip. Dave, what do you think?
I remember that he was on at least one Van Halen boot being trying to pass off as Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, the Guitar Man boot?
Oh, was that the one? I forget which one it is,
I think
to be
that
honest
was.
with you.
I think it was.
Maybe it was. But I just remember some of his stuff was on a boot, and later on it was pointed out that wasn't Eddie at all. It was Kurt, I think, from that video.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it. But that's how good the guy is.
Right.
He really is very talented.
Absolutely. Very, very good. Letter number 3 comes from Bill Boyd. The Promotion Man podcast is a must-listen for any Van Halen fan. Fred Myers was a Warner Brothers promotion man in the late 70s and through the 80s. Needless to say, he has some pretty good Van Halen stories, along with some others from Warner Brothers artists in that time period. I'm almost certain Fred would give you guys an interview to promote his new podcast. Thanks for keeping the Van Halen flag waving. Well, I have checked that out, the Warner Brothers Promotion Man podcast, and it's got some really good stuff. There are parts that he touches on, and I wish he would go deeper, and he doesn't. He doesn't, just brushes up on, but that would be great if we could get him on for an interview and we could kind of delve into that stuff. So, Bill, that's a great idea. I will certainly try to do that, and I will reach out to him, no worries. Have you ever heard of this podcast?
I haven't, but man, that sounds like a great idea for a guest. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for the suggestion. Because, if we can get him to do some deep dives on what it was like working with Van Halen in the day, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Letter number 4 comes from Kurtis Landclose. So he says, David Criblay. He breaks this down, 1 letter to you and 1 letter to me. Listen to this crap. So,
thoughtful of
I'm
him.
not happy with this guy. All right, so he says, apparently my letter last month was too verbose for you. I apologize. Let me be brief in this month's letter. I love your VH podcast. You guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And that's what he says to me, which I think has a sarcastic undertone. Then he says, Dave Marconi. And he spells your name with an I at the end.
Well, it's my whole life. What
Exactly.
can I tell you?
Apparently, Criblay doesn't realize that he is the pot calling the kettle black when he says my letter from last month is too long. Each Dave and Dave Unchained podcast episode is over 2 hours long. And if he didn't bust your chops so much, he would probably edit each episode down to an hour and a half. So Marconi, when finished playing the Mamba, maybe you can talk to some sense into your partner. Warmest regards, Kurtis Landclose, a.k.a. Southeast fucking Kurt. Can you believe this guy? This Midwest...
That is the best letter of 2019.
No, it
right
is not.
there.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Oh, you son of a bitch. Unbelievable.
Actually, when I read that letter, I literally laughed out loud.
Good, Kurt.
That was awesome.
You got a fan in Dave.
I do, yeah, no, absolutely, because I totally agree that we could probably shave off at least 25% off the podcast. Well, A, for what he said, and B, if we could just like rein in your rants, we could probably get it into a reasonable hour.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yeah,
well, you know what? Now you're going to pay what I like to call penance. You know what penance is, Dave? You want penance? And Kurt, you want penance? Well, guess what I just did? I pulled out his letter from last month, and I'm going to read it in full.
Oh, Maron.
Yes. So sit back, get out the blankets and the hot soup, because Kurtis Landclose, this is apparently such an incredible piece of writing that it deserves full reading here. So here we go.
Now, wait. Now, don't be sarcastic with our listeners now,
Okay.
just because they don't take your side. You need to calm down and take it easy.
All right. Well, you tell me at the end of this opus if it was worth the ride, okay? Dear Dave and Dave, good morning, fellow Van Halen and Sammy Hagar fanatics. Kurtis from Atlanta here once again. I wrote to you a few months ago to tell you about a wonderful event with which I am involved called 80s in the Sand. 80s in the Sand.rocks. My involvement is co-hosting 80s Trivia and 80s Music Bingo with my friends Dale and Allison Shoemaker. The third installment of 80s in the Sand was last week, November 2nd to the 9th, 2019, at the Breathless Resort in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Nice.
Many bands performed at this event like the Information Society, Debbie Gibson, Tone Loc, Kix, Glass Tiger, and Lita Ford. However, the headlining act was Sammy Hagar and the Circle, and it was an amazing concert, and I have an amazing story to tell you about this show. Sammy was doing a meet and greet before the show, and I was a little disappointed I didn't make the cut to meet him. 80s in the Sand is an intimate setting where the guest count is relatively small compared to a normal concert, so meeting the celebrities present isn't all that difficult. Many times they are hanging around the pool or at the bar. This was not the case with Sammy and company. Security was very tight around them, and only about 30 people received an official meet and greet. Anyway, the show started on Tuesday evening, November 5th, and I was very close to the stage. In fact, when Michael Anthony walked out right in front of me, I was freaking out. I couldn't believe how close I was to rock royalty like Mikey. He was less than 15 feet from me the entire show. During the set, people were throwing all kinds of stuff on stage, and Sammy was signing T-shirts and LPs and photos, etc. At one point, he even put on a denim jacket owned by my friend Bob Bennett and signed it before giving it back to him. I didn't bring anything for Sam to sign. However, I had a blue tumbler with me with a sticker affixed from Redbubble.com. It was of Hagar the Horrible comic strip with a cartoon version of Sammy. When Sammy came over to my side, I extended the tumbler toward him, and much to my surprise, he took it, and he started signing it with a gray Sharpie. What happens next blew me away, though. He then sat on Jason Bonham's drum riser and put ice, Sammy's Beach Bar rum, and Coca-Cola into my tumbler. He then walked back, gave it to me, and blew it a kiss. I was laughing my head off, and I couldn't believe it. That experience was better than any meet and greet would have been. Another fun experience of the week was seeing Diane Franklin and Amanda Weiss, who both starred in the movie Better Off Dead as Monique and Beth, respectively. I gave them both a can of Better Off Dead-inspired IPA by Hoof Hearted Brewing, named Everybody Wants Some. The image on the can includes the EVH Frankenstrat wearing Pig Burger claymation character from Better Off Dead, as well as the same character as a singer, bass player with a Jack Daniels bass, and drummer. Amanda and Diane had no idea such a thing existed and were very happy to receive their own cans for their collection. I had an extra can, so each of them signed it for me. Here is a Dropbox link containing photos and a video documenting all of which I just described to you. Please feel free to share any of these photos and or video with your audience on your Facebook page and website. Thanks again to both of you for what you do. I always look forward to the next episode. I was really sad to hear of the passing of David Lee Roth's former guitarist Bart Walsh, by the way. I am so glad you guys got that interview when you did. Keep up the good work. Until next time, Kurtis Landclose, Atlanta, Georgia. All right?
All right.
All right.
So, very nice letter. Bit on the long side, but a very nice letter. So, thank you for taking the time to write it. We appreciate it.
I do, yes. But I would just like to say, Kurtis, that I was pushed by almost knife point to shorten these letters by the guy that you're praising, Marconi with an I.
Well, we got to keep things going here. I mean, look, I know people like a long podcast, but there comes a point where you got to draw a line in the sand.
All right. Well, I just, and also the ball breaking is peppered in and it keeps the flow going. And it's also what keeps Dave awake, or else this motherfucker passes out on me.
Thank you for thinking of me in a backhanded sort of way. I appreciate that very much. It's nice to know that you give me crap for the sake of the podcast. Thank you. Very selfless of you, by the way. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to letter number 5.
Please.
Letter number 5, okay? The letter number 5, it comes from Jeff Shrewsbury, and he says, just recently listened to your November podcast. Great job, guys. I always enjoy it. With the recent events, I think a few things. That's kind of weird. It was weirdly phrased. I believe Wolfgang will be the singing lead vocals and playing bass for Van Halen if they ever hit the road again, and I believe he will mix in a few of his own tunes until he has a bigger catalog to present and establish himself. If that is not the case, then I seriously say call up Gary Sharon, sing all the eras of Van Halen, and do a real farewell tour. I believe you mentioned Hoof-Hearted Brewing on your last episode. It's pronounced Hoof-Farted.
I see what they did there.
Yeah, I see what they did there. It is brewed about an hour north of my house here in Ohio. Lastly, I wanted to send you a picture of a van that was spotted in Daytona, Ohio, about an hour west of my house just a few years back. Van Halen is everywhere, and I say rock on. Thanks, Jeff Shrewsbury. Well, Jeff, that's cool. Thank you so much for writing in. Jeff's always a pleasant guy. I do remember you mentioning the brewery because I just read that letter again, and the Hoof-Hearted thing. That's an old Jackie Martling joke, actually, believe it or not. Jackie has an album called Hoof-Hearted Ice Melted. Whatever. I don't know what to make of this. I'm all thrown off because of Kurt. And not only that, but Kurt is trying to emulate Midwest Ron. Everybody's trying to be a Midwest Ron ripoff here.
Look at that. He's a trendsetter now, right?
No, you just love it. You can't get enough Ron. You can. If you had 3 Rons, you'd be happy. All right.
You know what? It just bothers you.
It does.
That Ron likes me better than you.
It's true.
And it bothers you that the last letter liked me better than they liked you.
Okay.
The pressure's on. The pressure's on for you.
Yeah,
I see what's happening now.
You're winning this round. It's killing me.
I didn't realize it was a contest.
That's right. So we're on to letter number 6. Hopefully I can catch up. It is from Paul. It is from Paul Davis. And he says, hey guys, I agree with you that Sammy is best picking songs from his whole career for a set list. But if Sam were to do a